Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Vision Alignment Show. It's a show where we all get to understand that we all have blindness in our lives. And so if we can get to hear the importance of having our own core values, our own core beliefs, be in alignment with our vision, then we're going to get to see how other people are doing this. And that's the whole idea of the show, is to be able to do this. So this is where you can work on yourself. Remember that you're CEO of YOU. So you are that CEO, and that is important for us all to understand how we're the managers of ourselves, our own company. We'll learn from the people that have gone ahead of us, and there are people like our guest that's coming on today. And without any further ado, I'd love to have him come on. His name is Randy Chafee. Come on, Randy. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
Living the dream. Just living the dream. I get to be a sales jockey and do what I love to do every day. How could it be better?
That's good. That's a whole part of this alignment. So you're doing what you are meant to do, right? So how do you get to a point where you understand that? And before we go there, let's just back up and tell your story, if you would, please.
Sure. It started a long time ago, far away. It actually is quite a ways back. I'm older than I appear, probably. But I grew up on a little farm in mid-Michigan, up in the middle part of the state, just north of the capital city of Lansing. And so, I learned a lot of work ethic from my dad, who was a farmer. And then he started a business. And I was an only child also, which most people that know me very long will kind of pick up on that pretty quickly too. But so I learned not only work ethic out in the fields, work in the fields in the evenings I remember where I first learned real work ethic from my dad was I was probably 7, 8 years old. And he said, we get done with dinner, or supper as we called it. And he said, let's go, son. I said, where are we going, Dad? And he goes, we're going out in the field. I thought we were going to go out and ride around on the tractor or something. No, we're going to go out and walk the bean rows and pull weeds, and which I hated. But and I said, why are we doing that, Dad? And he goes, because we put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money into planting the field, and now we need to cultivate it, and we can do a better job by hand, even though we did do it by tractor also. But so that's where I started getting the work ethic, Brian, is from my dad. And I watched him as he started a business and did some selling, and I started doing some selling with him after I did the obligatory on the job site work, right? We had a construction business and distributed some products into kind of the same industry I'm in now. And the other thing that I learned from him is, and I didn't understand that I understood it at the time, if that makes sense, but he never sold anybody anything. But he always sold people stuff, if that makes sense. And that's been my mantra for a long time. And we all talk about it on some of our mastermind groups that we're both members of and belong to, is bring value. And a lot of people kind of take bring value maybe as something new and unique that we just sort of figured out in the last 6 months. And my dad was bringing value back when I was a young kid, and lugging seed corn bags over my shoulder in his little seed corn business. So that's kind of the start. I figured out that selling this stuff was more fun to me than building it and installing it, even though I think it's great that I did that for years, because I come from a background. It's amazing, Brian, when I talk to customers sometimes, and they may see me now as, I got my hair nice and neat and a button-down shirt but when you go, you do know I grew up on a farm. I did drive a tractor, and I did build pole barns. I did install metal roofing. And they go, oh, it's a whole different respect, if you will. So
yeah.
But that's the short version of a long story, because we need about 12 episodes to get through 8th grade if we talk forever. So,
well, I love to hear about your dad. That he sold seed, because my dad sold seed too.
Did he?
Yeah. He was a DeKalb seed salesman, and he sold Callahan soybeans for a while. And then later in life, he sold more Pioneer than anything, I believe.
Wow, that's amazing, because My dad was a Pioneer seed salesman, but before he got into Pioneer, he bought DeKalb from a local DeKalb guy. And just real quick, because we probably want to other things, but he asked about my story. My dad was calm, quiet, never got mad. But I remember the time we sat on one of the old barns, dirt floor, the DeKalb seed dealer was there, and they were talking, and he kept telling me to quit messing with this horseshoe that was hung up on the wall. And I didn't listen. I kept messing with it. 2 or 3 times I got he always called me Rand. He said, Rand, stop. And then guess what happened, Brian? I didn't stop, knocked the horseshoe off the nail and hit the DeKalb salesman on the head.
Oh, no.
Blood was running down his face.
Oh, no.
I got the look from my dad as I'm running out the door, because now the look was he's not happy. And I didn't see that often, so I didn't like it. So he took me to the hospital. Long story short, fast forward is he comes home, and I'm in the basement hiding with this great big old coal-fired furnace, right? And he goes, Randy, why Randy has trouble? Then it was Randy Lee. I'm in big trouble. He comes down the basement, and he says, come here. No. And he literally were chasing each other around this big furnace, because he finally says, I am going to whoop you if you don't come over here. If you come over here and talk to me, there's no whooping. So I tentatively walk over to him, and he puts his arm around me. And he said, what did you learn from this, son? And that's the long story, but that was where my dad was. So that was my DeKalb Pioneer seed corn story. That's funny. Wow. Small world, man.
Oh, yeah. It is a small world. We didn't know that before we came on here. But I wanted to make sure we recognized our good friend Wes, who we both know well. Wes, good morning. Yes, 2 great masterminds, or mega minds. Wes has been phenomenal to be able to help and to help me to position myself to grow and to do so much. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Wes and I are going to be doing some more chatting. So Wes is a good friend, and he's very good at what he does. And I'm hoping to do some more stuff with Wes myself. So good morning, Wes.
And today is his birthday.
I know. I hope I was the first one. I got up early just to wish him a happy birthday. But I think a fellow friend of ours from Mega Minds, Tim Lord, beat me to the punch, which really irritates me.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about what you think the biggest factor in your success is.
You know, go ahead.
No. Can you tell me what that is?
Yes, I think it is. I think that, and a lot of this goes back to what I said earlier, and I learned from my dad. But I think that, and I talk about this often, and I have a little mantra that I use that I've actually did some little walking talks.
My good friend Mark used to come on. He's in Wisconsin. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
So at some point in time, I talk about existing or engaging versus existing. And when I figured out in my life that I needed to engage in life, and that engage means whether it's personal or whether it's business. Because if you're really into what you do, then they intertwine with each other, right? There's no, in my world, and I'm not saying this is right for everybody, but as an independent agency that runs my own business, I don't go from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 4. Business is business, and I take care of business whenever it needs to be taken care of. And I realize that my customers are my friends, and I try to develop those relationships. So probably the biggest key to success that I've had is truly engaging in my life and engaging in my business life and engaging in my customer friends. And I always try to use that word. I look at customer friends as in customer dash or / whatever you want to use, customer friends, because that's what they really are. And so it's not a nuisance when they call. It's not a nuisance if they call me on a Saturday afternoon. That's another chance to engage with a friend, right? And I think that's probably the biggest thing is I'm a relationship guy. I'm a big believer in the theory, and it gets talked about a lot, but a lot of people don't practice it. But you said it in your intro, which I love, is my rep agency is called Source One Marketing, but I'm I'm CEO, chairman of the board, king guru of Randy Inc. Right? That's what
right.
I really am. The brand has nothing. I don't want to say the brand has nothing to do with it because some of my manufacturers may be listening in, and so they're very important. I don't want to give the wrong impression. But I never walk in with, "Hey, I want to sell you this." The first thing is, right, and we talk about this a lot in our groups, they got to buy me first, right? That's the only thing they need to buy first, because if they buy me first, we got a pretty good shot at chatting about, my product lines, that I sell. So it's really been a matter of just engaging in life and then doing it every day. And, that's really the key. And if you do that and you care about people and you care about building relationships and you really care about the customer, the other stuff becomes easy.
Yeah, it just happens.
It does.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly. It just happens. You don't have to force it, because that makes me think of a statement that's used to be big. I used to read all the books, probably still have them somewhere, moved numerous times, so who knows where they are now. But the old theories of ABC, right? Always be closing.
Mm-hmm.
Understood that theory, understand that theory. And I feel like I am doing that, but in a very passive way, because I happen to feel like if you build the relationships and if you're opening, you don't have to go for this massive close at the end, because it becomes a natural thing, right? We get to know each other. You get to know me. I get to know you. You trust me. I trust you. Some of my opening calls with a customer, if I'm never a brand new customer, is really, Brian, I would just like 15 minutes to get to know you. We may not have any need to do business. It may not be right for either of us. And if that's the case, that's okay. We can always use more friends in the industry, right? But maybe there's something here that we can do together. And I think if you start it that way, you start down the path of building the relationship. And once you do that, you don't have to go for this hard close at the end. It becomes natural. It's naturally, Randy, I think I'd like to try this. How do I need to buy a full truck? Do I need to buy a pallet? You led me to the close as opposed to the other way around. Hey, John Marchand. Thanks, buddy. Love you.
Sounds like you know this guy.
Yeah, we have been compadres for years. We've worked together in the past, and industry buddy. Good man. Good man.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember when I used to work at IBM, it was easy, so much easier that back then, because it was all about the relationship. So you had this relationship, and you just continued to farm it. Not farm it. You didn't really farm it. You just you continued to work with it and to make it as beneficial to both people as you possibly can.
Exactly. So, and I think, Brian, you hit us when you said farm it. I like that, though, especially since we've already established that we're both from the old farm world. I think sales and farming have there's a lot in common, because let's think about it. In both, you need to till the field, so to speak. That would be kind of prospecting, right? And then you need to plant. In both, right? Plant the seed. We need to prospect. We need to look for customers. Then you need to cultivate them, right? And then you get to reap or harvest at the end. The only thing about sales that I like is that, or I liken it to farming, only it's 24/7, 365, and there's no seasons, because you're doing all of those with different customers at different times, right? You may be harvesting the rewards on this one, while at the same time you just literally met this guy 12 minutes ago, right? So you're in all these different processes, which makes it just massively fun. I never get bored. So.
Good morning, lady Sushwana. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but hopefully I am. Thank you very much for coming on this morning. This is great. Morning. Oh, and there's somebody else who's joined us. Liz, do you know Liz?
I know Liz very well. Liz is actually my. We got to figure out a really good title. Gator Tough is our little thing. She's my marketing assistant, for lack of a better term. She works full time with me, and we just did a new really nice post this morning. I think it's nice. It's got me in it, so that detracts a bit, but her work was good.
And it's still nice.
Yeah, Liz. Liz is doing a lot of great stuff for me. This is how into this whole social media virtual thing that I am, is that Liz's full-time job with me, and we're going to find some other things for her to do probably as time goes on, some customer CSR stuff, maybe a little, but she is just full-time trying to make me look good, trying to be out there and trying to be in front of people, because I have drank the Kool-Aid, or in my case, the LaCroix grapefruit water. Because I'm off of coffee now, because I wouldn't be able to stay on the screen if I had any more coffee. But I believe full-heartedly in the world of virtual. And it's interesting because, yeah, that's it right there. We talk about that, the virtual dude. And I came up with dude because I'm wandering. I'm seeing squirrels now, but back when CBs were big, back when like I was.
We're still on vision. We're still on the right path. You're doing great.
Roll me back in if you need to.
You're all right.
I was a country dude was my handle on CB way back in high school. And do not, because I will walk out if you ask me what year that was, because that's bad. But so anyway, Liz and I talk about that a lot, of being the virtual dude, because where I was going with that is and I don't know if you want to hear this quick story of how I got into that,
sure.
But I am the consummate road warrior, or always have been. That's been my thing forever. I was before I lived in Southern Florida, which I have this state for some products, but my general territory, if you will, is the Great Lakes in the Northeast. And so before I moved to Florida part of the year, or a big part of the year, I would drive a lot, 80, 90,000 miles a year. I mean, it was out every week. Boom, boom, boom. Hotel, drive, breakfast, dinner, or lunch, dinner with customers. And then when I started living down here, same thing, I just flew more. And then the same thing, right? Rental cars. That's it right there, right, Bam?
Yeah.
2.5 amazing.
How are you this morning? He's
Good
great,
morning, brother.
Oh, man. He's awesome.
So anyway, then I knew for a while that I needed to get more customer touches than I was getting, because I'm a customer relation guy. We've talked about that, right? I love customers, I love people. Hammering the road and being with people is vitally important, and especially in my industry, right? More than some. But I knew I needed to do it better. Just have more touches without so much travel. Because traveling is not easy. You get 4 or 5 people a day if you're lucky. You try to make phone calls in between windshield time, but it's not the same. So a good, if you will, air quotes, outcome of the COVID lockdown was I was forced to figure out a way to do this, right? Because the realization set in about March 17th when I got home from a trip, watching the airports with no people, and I'm going, oh, this is not cool. I don't know what this means, but it's not good. And so I spent a lot of time, took a lot of notes, took a lot of courses, met folks like Eric that was just on in the Megamind group, and really started to figure out that I can do virtual stuff, and I can do it well, and I can do, thanks, Eric. That is exactly what we do, buddy. You and I both. Brian does it. We all do it. Good stuff. If you don't, you're not going to win in today's world. If you don't do that, right, Brian? If you don't do that, what Eric just said, you're not going to win. But so I decided that I'm going to become virtual. I'm going to do more of these sort of things. My own live coming up, hopefully. Live posts. I do a lot of text. Probably 60-70% of the text and emails that I send now is with a video. I'll pop down here at my desk, or I got my little AnyView backdrop, whatever it could be. I don't just send a text to customers anymore. I do some. It might be like a follow-up, but I just jump on and say, hey, Brian, it's Randy, what's up? Hope things are well. It could be nothing more than literally, hey, Brian, appreciate you. Thanks for all you do. That's it. Love you, brother. Whatever. And so you tie that into the social media aspect of things. And what it really comes to me is a force multiplier, right? You're way too kind, Eric. He's just way too kind. I did send him $100 for that, so I mean, that's about.
Well,
I was keeping track of that because if it wasn't on there, I was going to retract it. but you know, so I use it as an augmentation, and that's a big word. I can't spell it, but it's an augmentation to my Road Warrior thing. So that Randy 2.5 Hybrid Amazing is something that I kind of coined for use for myself more, maybe in some social media stuff, maybe as a thought for a book. I'm thinking around in my goofy little head, but it's how do you combine, in my world, the old Road Warrior mentality with the new, and that's really, it's a work in progress, because there is still in my world. And well, let me back up. Something that Eric Bam has said before is there's no old normal, new normal, and he's right with that. I don't love this concept that people say, I can't wait until we go back to the old way. Well, you're waiting a long time, brother, because we're not going back, nor should we go back. We should not go back. We're going to go back some. I mean, I still have traveled. I'm back off it a little bit right now because there's just no sense probably right now. One, it's just for whatever reasons, whatever is going on out there. But also, a lot of people don't want to see it right now either, right? They're just hesitancy. Yeah, I'll talk about my walking. But my point is that it's my industry still, you know, people want to see me. They want me to bring in donuts, do a little hug, how you doing, handshake, or I think Eric coined it a chug or a trug or something. He'll put it up here in a minute. And I was on his Tim Lord and his show, on the OT. It's escaping me for a second. They got a good show on Tuesdays. Shot on goal. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, I said that sometimes it's funny when you go in to see a customer now, because I have certain customers. I do a lot with the Amish and Mennonite. Great people, fully engaged with their life. They shake hands. How you doing? Let's go to lunch. But you know, you walk into some customers right now, and it's funny. As you walk in and you do the dance, right? Because you walk in the door and you start to reach out, but you don't know if you should shake hands. Should you do the bro hug? Should you fist bump? You sort of doing this dance, and you're both doing this dance, right? And it's kind of funny sometimes because neither one of you knows what you got to do. It's just one of those little hilarious things. But bringing it back full circle, the whole virtual thing, man, is I probably do, Brian, some sort of virtual thing, and I call it a text with a video or an email with a video virtual, right? Because I'm not there. But it's a huge force multiplier, and that's what I look at: is how can I be Randy 2.5, right? How can I multiply myself? I might go to 3.0 this in 21. We'll see.
Well, that's good. Let's see what else we got here.
Shug.
There you go.
I gotta write that. I'm gonna write that down. SHUG. There we go. Thanks, Bam.
Yeah.
But
Bam, he's awesome. So
so he asked about walking, and you know, I do a lot of walking. I'm kind of into, you know, trying to be physically fit and be healthy, and so I walk a lot. But again, I use that as I'm probably on the phone the whole time I'm walking. If I'm not listening to music, which is very short, I'm usually doing some videos, talking to customers. I might walk for 2 hours. That's 2 hours of customer time, right? Talking to customers, shooting a quick text. You know, I mean, I'll do, hey, I'm out wandering around. Thanks for your order last week. Hope everything went well. You know, whatever. And then I get very philosophical when I walk. And so I come up with these ideas that pop in my head that I just decide to say to people. So he reinvented himself. Well, as I told my girl Liz, I said, your biggest job is to raise the bar, and that bar is pretty low. So I mean, it doesn't take much to reinvent yourself from me. But thank you.
But back to what you're saying. You know, in terms of your walk and the 2 hours and the conversations and all that. I love that. That's a great concept of just being out there and getting things done and making sure the relationships are all staying fresh and all that. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Well, and it's multitasking at its best. I think for me is I need the physical exercise. It's good for you, and I want it, but I don't have really 2 hours a day sometimes in my day because I manage many product lines in some very major manufacturers in my industry. So I have a lot going on, and I'm developing new product lines within these manufacturers on a daily basis. So I don't necessarily always have time to just take 2 hours out of my day to not be focused on work stuff. So, but walking becomes part of my work life because I can do what we said. I can talk to customers. I can, text to customers. I can do videos to customers. I can do a video or two that I maybe do a live while I'm walking because some thought pops in my head. Because in like these kind of shows, I've been doing a fair amount of these, and I've got one coming up tomorrow with Mike from Audit. I should give him props. I don't have full name, but Audit. Eric was on it last week. He'll throw this up there too because Eric's
okay.
But doing these kind of things, I look at as clearly part of. I'll use Liz's thing, the virtual dude, right? It's just all part of what we do. The more of these kind of things, the more people I can talk to. Like you, I learned from you, I learned from Eric, I learned from Tim, I learned from George, all these people that we're involved with. And the more you put yourself out there, who knows? I mean, I do these because you and I become friends, and you're going to come on my show when I have it. I wanted to help you by bring something. But hey, you think about it. Every time you put yourself out there virtually, what if only one person picks up on this show and says, what's this Brian guy? I like this. What is this radical vision thing? Or what's this Randy dude? He got something to do with metal roofing or something. I mean, right? It's just one more force multiplier, right? Is all it is.
Yeah, it is. You're right. So Liz comes on here. Liz says, I'm also motivated by Randy's walks and talks. Now, if we only can get him to use his selfie stick. She's saying a selfie stick.
I know. She bought me a selfie stick, and then I don't carry it because I feel like my best side is this, apparently.
You like people to look up your nose?
Exactly.
Oh,
there it is. Mike Brooks audited tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm going to be on his show. So, but thanks, Bam. But no, I love doing these things, and it's. It just may come as a surprise, Brian. So, I mean, I know you're standing, but hold something. I do like to talk. And when you get to be a little older, because I can guarantee you I'm older than you, two things happen. You got a whole lot of crap to talk about, and you start realizing that I might have less time to talk about it. So, I just, I figure I just talk. I like to
you
talk.
gotta get the message out. You got to get the message out.
You got to get the message out.
If you have something to say, and I'm sure you do, then it's all about getting the message out.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
that's a good idea, Liz.
I try.
Wow. Our time is going away, man. Randy, we're almost at 30 minutes.
Okay, well, because I talk much. What haven't I answered for you? Anything else you want to know? Because I'll tell you, or I'll make it up.
There's a lot that I'd love to have you answer. I think this has been great. Someday. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So let's see. Liz says sorry. So if there's anybody else that has any questions on the call. Listening #live, put a #live. If you're listening to this on replay, put a #replay. But also put down your questions. If you have some, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear about, and we'd get them answered with Randy here. Also, if you would, share this video with other people. So just hit share if you're listening on Facebook or if you're listening on LinkedIn. Just share it and share it with other people and let them know what we're doing here. And how important it is for us all to understand that our core beliefs, our core values need to be aligned with our core vision, our vision, really. And to understand our vision, and it's so important because that's what we do. That's how we have an effect on the world. That's how we get to share what we're doing with the rest of the world, just like Randy's doing here. And I'm so thankful that you came on today, Randy, and shared with the group here. I'm very appreciative, and yes, we do need to get you back on again. And we've got a full schedule, but at the end of December, I know we have some openings, so maybe we can have another instance where you can come on and share with the rest of the group again, and be able to understand how important your vision is, and understanding your core beliefs need to really be aligned with your company vision. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Right. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Take care. And as always, keep one eye on the road.